and welcome to today's yoga flow. We're going to do mostly a yoga flow focused on low back pain, hamstrings and hips to avoid sciatica. I've been having some terrible sciatic pain. My back has been spasming, so this flow can be super helpful for anybody. It's mostly going to be on the floor, so some things that might be helpful. A block. If you have a block, you can use a pillow. You can use a rolled up blanket or a towel. You could also use a strap on some of these poses. But to start, we're going to come to the floor seated. Sorry, so I can see my notes. We're going to come to the floor in a seated position, a bound angle, a butterfly pose. So the soles of our feet come together. And take a nice inhale, flat back up, and then exhale, we're going to forward bend here. You can use your elbows on your knees to give yourself a little bit more depth as needed. And we're going to hold here for a couple minutes. And holding poses a long time can often be difficult. If you find your mind starting to wander or you're having some trouble staying, focusing on something else can help. So redirecting your attention. You could give yourself a hand massage here. You could give yourself a nice little foot massage. And we're going to hold for a couple more seconds here. About 30 more seconds in this pose. You can also, something I like to do in this pose is place my thumbs right by the orbital bones and give myself a nice face massage, working on some of the pressure points on my face. Not only is it helpful in terms of tension in your face, but it also can help with lymphatic drainage. So anything like that. And by increasing the lymphatic drainage in your face, you can reduce things like fine lines and wrinkles. You can get more fullness in your face, more vibrancy in your face. On your next inhale, go ahead and flat back, look up. We're going to do a half cow face pose. So a full cow face is normally one leg crossed over, one leg crossed back. So a half cow face, we're going to let our left leg come out to the side, a little bit further out. Our right leg's going to come up and over our left. And we're going to go ahead and You can squeeze your leg if that works for you, or the goal here, my hips are not flexible right now, is to get your knees to touch. So oftentimes the simplest poses can be some of the hardest to do. Cow face pose is one of my favorite poses. It's one that I find myself coming to again and again when my hips are hurting. And you can play with the positioning of your feet, but my knee's a little funky today, so I'm going to walk my left foot, the bottom foot, out a little bit. And the further you lean forward, the more you'll feel some of that stretch. Just breathing deeply, about 20 more seconds on this side. And you might feel a little tingling or numbness in your feet. It's completely normal because we are cutting off some of the circulation here. Now there are two ways to get into the pose on the other side. I'm going to demonstrate and show you one, and then I'll show you the other. So one way you can do this is you can cartwheel your arms over to your left, untwist your legs, stand up, walk around to the other side, and you're in the pose on the other side. Another way to do this is to take our feet. You can simply lean back and get into the pose on the other side. So whatever works for you. Sometimes it's a little fun just to get up and do a little bit of movement. So again, your right leg should be your bottom leg. Your left leg is your top leg here. And we are reaching for our knees to be touching towards each other. You're going to feel in your hips a little tightness. Keeping a flat back. Leaning forward to where it feels good for you. We're going to hold here for about 1 minute and 40 seconds longer. We have about 40 seconds left in this pose. You might start getting a little bit of tingling on the bottom foot, at least I do. We're going to place your hands behind you. We're going to lean back to get out of this pose. So now we're going to go into a sitting swan pose, almost like a figure four. So we are going to start with our left foot up. No, with our right foot up, sorry. So lean back on your hand. You're going to bring your right ankle to your left knee, reaching your right knee down and out away from your body. Bring your head back. From the side, this is going to look pretty familiar to many people. We're going to be in this pose right here. We're not going to hold this one as long as the others. We're going to hold it for about 1 minute. Alright, so you can lean a little bit further back to get out of it. Place your right foot on the ground. Inhale, bring your left foot up to your right knee. Putting yourself in the same position on the opposite side. Inhale up. So now what we're going to do, you're going to lean onto your back, and we are going to do eye of the needle pose, which is very, very similar. So reclining onto your back, bring your right leg up, again into that figure four, and we can lift and reach through. This is also a pose where you can rotate the ankle that is up. So my left ankle is up. You can rotate it for some mobility. Turn down the volume a little bit. On your next exhale, go ahead and sit your left foot down, your right foot to the ground, and bring your left foot up to your right knee. And we're going to thread through on the opposite side. more seconds on this side. On the next exhale, and set both feet down. And we're going to go to a side twist. Some popping going on. So we're going to inhale our right leg up, and we can twist from here. Rotating over to our right side. If you want more of a stretch, you can actually place your left foot on the outside of your right knee and use that for a little more leverage. You might feel it a little bit more on your back. And look out over your left shoulder. Inhale both those feet up. We're going to repeat it on the opposite side. So you might need to adjust to make sure you have no space. Bring that right leg up. Dropping our knees over to the left. Looking out over our right. And I feel this pose a little bit more in my glute when I cross like this than I do if I have my feet out straight in a more traditional pose. Go ahead and inhale both your legs up. Straighten your legs out so that you are flat on your back. Take a mini Shavasana for just a couple of moments. Not done. Mindful of those toes a little bit, so just a mini Shavasana. We are going to bring the right leg in, get a little squeeze, extend up, reaching all the way out. Let's do the same with your left leg. Inhale, exhale, extend all the way out. You're going to do this a little bit on each side, working with your breath. Inhale on the in, exhale on the out. If you have your foot flexed, you'll feel it in your hamstrings versus when you have it lifted, you'll feel it a little differently. Play around with how your toes are. On your next one, Don't move that. Nice stretch, reach up overhead. Curl the toe ball onto your right side. Then push yourself up to sit. We're going to do garland pose or a deep squat. So from here, you can bring your feet out to the side as wide as you need. Flat feet is ideal. You might have some tightness. It might be a little more up. You can use a block under your behind. Just sit into if this pose is inaccessible for you. Make sure that your knees are pointed in the same direction as your toes. So if my knees were like this, my feet are like this isn't good for my knees. See that your knees in the same direction and have your hands in between your heart center. You can use your elbows to give yourself a little more leverage. We're going to inhale, stretch our right arm up, our left arm down. Just a slight twist. If having your arm up doesn't work, you can put your hand on the small of your back, looking over the right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, left arm up. Inhale, center. Now from here, if you have a block underneath your pillow, you're going to move that. We're going to shoot our legs or foot straight up to a forward fold. We can dangle here, so crossing your arms. You can sway back and forth. If you're going to shake hands or shaking around. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling all the way up to third. Your head's the last to lift, tucking those shoulders back. Now we're going to go ahead and go into a chair pose and do some revolved chair. So we're going to do a couple of standing poses. So for our chair pose, you want your feet to be about hip distance apart, about 2 fists. Inhale, hands up above, and as you exhale, sink into your chair. Now for a twist, it's a little easier with your feet together. So you can bring your left elbow to your knee, and twist, looking out to the right. And inhale, heart center. Exhale, twist over to our left. Inhale, heart center, all the way to standing. Stretch our arms up overhead. Squeeze your booty, a slight back bend. Inhale up, hands to heart center. Now from here, we're going to do a standing pose, standing hand to big toe. It might not be as accessible to you. Let me adjust my camera. So you can use something to hang on to if you need. You can also just use it with your knee, and I'll show both variations. We're going to start the balance on our right leg, so find your nice stable mount. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And slowly bring the weight in your right leg, lifting your left leg up. We can hang on to our knee, if that feels good, or you can hang on to your foot, if that's accessible to you. Now we're going to take our hip out towards the side, and if you fall out of it, come right back in gently, so we can take our foot out to the side. If it is accessible to you, and my right leg, standing leg, is my weak balancing leg, I tend to sink out into it. Grab onto your foot and extend out to the side. If that's not accessible, you can stay here in this front. A couple more seconds. And your next exhale, set your foot down. Find your stable base once again. Bringing our weight, shifting it towards our left. Inhale our left leg up. Our right leg up. And again, full expression. You can reach your foot straight forward. Now working this foot to the side. You can be here, or I don't have the balance today. In a full expression. No balance for you today. So this is going to be my expression for the day. On your next exhale, put both feet on the ground. Go ahead, roll your shoulders a couple times. Up, back, and down. Forward, back, and down. And we are going to work our way towards the floor once again. So we're going to take a nice wide stance, so feet further out than our hips. Inhale. Go ahead and swan dive forward. From here, we're going to rotate towards our left. So this is my right towards our right who's facing forward. And we are going to go into side angle pose. So you can use a block here and place your hand on it. Give yourself a bit of height that you need. You can use your elbow. We're going to reach our left arm up. You can also put it in the small of your back. Your head can look up or down, whichever feels best for your neck. And we want our knee over our ankle in this pose. Extend that arm up. We're going to cartwheel our arms down, dropping that left leg back. Walk out our right leg. You can put both hands on the inside of our right foot here. You can drop your knee out to the side if that feels good to you as well. You can stay on your hands, you can do your elbows, even your chest. Next time, bring that leg up. Exhale, keep our right leg straight. I'm going to sit back just for a moment. And now the fun part where you're going to reverse. So you can tuck your back left toes up and back into that wide stance. Rotate over to your left, grabbing your props if you need them. Pointing your left toes out of you, your right toes at 90 degrees. Hand on the inside of that left foot and rotate, looking up. And again, you can look up towards the sky or down towards the ground, whichever feels best for you. Go ahead and cartwheel those arms both to the ground. Dropping your right knee to the ground. And with both hands on the inside here, you come to an angle. It's a little more visible. Sort of like our hands are on the outside, inside. You can drop this knee out to the side instead of having it up if that feels good. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Take a seat back. Sort of a nice stretch on the back of our thigh. Now we're going to go ahead, come to our knees, bring our knees together. We're just going to take a seat here. We can tuck our toes underneath and take a seat back. This is actually quite uncomfortable for a lot of people. Stretches the back of your feet a little. The more up you are, the less intensity. The further down you are, the more intensity there is. Just for a couple moments here. And go ahead and make our way to the tabletop. We are going to go into dolphin. Let me take off some of my layers here so that you are able to see a little bit better what my shoulders and my back are doing. So for dolphin pose, if you have a block, it's a great way to maintain integrity, the distance between your elbows. So you can hold on to it, you can just squeeze it with your forearms. It also helps provide you a little bit of additional focus. So dolphin is very similar to downward facing dog. A big difference, instead of a downward facing dog, we're just putting our weight into our palms. On dolphin, we are going to be on our forearms. So if you have a block, things that come in front of you, so that your shoulders and your hands can touch, start out with your knees, under your hips, tuck your toes, and go ahead and lift and push back. And your head might barely be off the ground. Now from here, you can try to push into downward facing dog. Transferring your weight to just your hands. If you can't push into downward dog from here, you can come back to this modified dolphin and we'll go into downward facing dog here. We're going to inhale our right leg up from your knee to elbow, or knee to wrist. We're going to go into half pigeon. So you can use the block on the side here to keep yourself sitting right in between and not moving back to the side. If it's accessible to you, you can lean forward. Go ahead and place your hands under your shoulders, lift up. The easiest way to get out of this pose, to tuck those back leg feet and come back into a three-legged dog. Stretch that leg up, shake it out, and come down. And drop again to our knees, back to tabletop. And we're going to go into a dolphin. So if dolphin's not accessible, you can walk out. This is puppy dog. If you are on your knees, or you can lift up to go. So as you can see here with the block in my way, how far off the ground my head is. Transferring your weight with your hands, downward facing dog. Inhale and lift the left leg up. Bring it to our left wrist. And swing back into our pigeon. using any props that you need. You can go ahead and lean forward. Go ahead and put your hands under those shoulders, gently lifting our chest up back into our three-legged dog. Go ahead and come into down dog. Dropping to our knees out wide, toes touching, into a nice child's pose. Resting here in child's pose, we can roll over on our third eye here, feeling that connection to the mat. Placing your hands under your shoulders, go ahead and sit all the way up. What we're going to do here, we're going to go do just a couple more poses. So bringing our knees to touch, so our knees are touching, feet out wide. You're going to sit our behind in between. So you can use a block up high, to the side, between the leg. Just sitting in between our thighs here. I apologize for my dog. When we're here, you want to make sure that your feet, the tops of your feet are flat on the ground. This is a great pose if you need a sip of water, anything like that. You can get it during this time if it's within your reach. You can rest your hands in your lap, you can have them at heart center, whatever feels best for you. You can also massage your feet a little with your knuckles in this pose. holding this pose for a little bit longer. Go ahead and lean forward onto your hands. You can turn out your feet a little bit here. And just pick a side to come to, moving your heart out of your way. And we are going to go into a seated forward fold. So, legs out straight. Inhale our arms up, exhale forward, keeping our back flat. You might find yourself rounding a little bit. Try your best to keep your back as flat as you can. Our goal here isn't to get folded in half, but to elongate our spine. You can reach for your calves, your ankles, your feet. If you have a strap is a great way to get that stretch and keep your shoulders and your spine straight. Inhale gently up. We're going to make our way to our back. So just gently coming down onto your back. We're going to take our legs and just rock them out from side to side. You can have your arms up in cactus. Preparing yourself to go into Shavasana very shortly now. So inhaling. Our right leg up and in. Left leg shoots out. Release. Give yourselves a nice squeeze. Bringing that right leg up and over our left, looking over our right. Give yourselves a nice twist. Using all over our right arm. And next inhale, bringing both legs into a ball. Rock back and forward. Couple times. And go ahead and send your right leg out. Give your left leg a nice good squeeze in. Dropping that left leg forward. Gazing out over our left. Good. Inhale. Bring that leg up. Find yourself flat on your back, taking a moment, whatever adjustments you might need to make so that you can comfortably rest in your Shavasana. Maybe lay your sweater or a jacket over you. Perhaps you have a blanket. I always find that using a sweater or a blanket kind of helps me keep warm and a little more relaxed. So in our corpse pose, our legs are out straight in front of us. Our feet can float to the sides. Our hands face up. And take a few minutes here. Inhale, counting to 5. Exhale, counting to 5. You might have a lot of mental chatter going on. Just let your thoughts come and go, come and go. And for today's Savasana, exhale. Starting at the number 1000 in your head, counting backwards to 1. to your right side. Close your eyes and open. Gently pushing yourself up to the seat. Finding yourself in a comfortable seated position. Your hands to heart center. Noticing how different you feel. A little more relaxed. A little bit of relief. Good stretches for your hips, thighs, your glutes. Thank you for joining me here today. It's a wonderful way to practice and start the day. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. Thank you.